Good morning. My name is Bryan Barringer. I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at Christian Brothers University. I'm here at the University of Memphis Career Center for Entrepreneurship, where we teach a 12-week course in entrepreneurship called ImagineU. It's student-led, and with us today I have Emily Wolfe, who's the CEO of Pets for You, one of our graduate programs, and actually our competition winner for this program, so congratulations on that. During this process, this 12-week process teaching students about entrepreneurship, we discussed a book called Cracking the Funding Code, and everybody in the class read that, and I'd like to have just a conversation with Emily because we've talked about it several times already. We just wanted to do it in front of the camera, so that's what we're doing here today. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
And again, congratulations.
Thank you. We're definitely really excited to move forward with our company.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a company that we've been talking a lot with, and we really feel like y'all have a long way to go with it, and it's going to be an exciting journey.
It is.
Well, let's talk about how this book might help you along that journey. It's kind of come across during the summer as well. What do you think is, like one of your go-to top favorite things about the book?
One of my favorite things about this book, especially for me being put in the position of CEO, is the networking. So understanding how to network and really how to begin, even if you feel good about talking to people,
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean that you have great networking skills. And she goes into detail about where to start and how to build your network with meaningful relationships and what's appropriate, when to email someone. A lot of those little etiquette things are extremely important, and
Yeah.
they just make or break a relationship
true.
with someone.
We were talking about it just before we came in here about, starting off in your sphere, right? And she talks about that in the book too, of who you know and then who those people know, and then building it upon. Now, tell me a little bit more about, how you get ready to tap into that network. I mean, you kind of have to know your business pretty well, right?
Yes. And first, she says, she provides a chart in the book for you to fill in that is who are the first 25 people that you can think of that are in your network. It can be friends and family, but for instance, I'm a graduate student. I'm thinking of professors that I've built a relationship with, and anyone that might be at least interested in hearing my company's story.
Right.
Those are the people that you want on this list. And then from there, you can build out. If those 25 people all connect you with one person, you have a network of 50 valuable people that want to keep up with your story. So
we also spent a lot of time talking about customer discovery and customer development. Your target audience at that point is trying to get customers to understand what their value propositions that they desire to have, and getting to know them to build and inform your product. But that process is the same when you're talking about investors as well, right?
Absolutely.
Getting to know them, to understand them.
And it's critical to do customer discovery with an investor. And that means really you just look at their website. What else have they invested in?
Right.
Are they a good fit for you and your company? And maybe if they're not, but they're in the room anyway, they should know people that, hey, I think your idea is really interesting. It's not really in my wheelhouse, but I do know people that would be extremely interested in hearing more about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyone that you pitch in front of, understand what their interests are, and understand that even if, my company is about animal care and taking care of pets, but I might end up with someone that's in the food industry or something.
But they have a passion.
But they have a passion and they have connections, and you should never discount anyone for any reason.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's very valuable to understand. She does a very good job of kind of putting those in terms that are easy to consume. Knowing who you're asking and what you're asking them of, and if it ends into be a slow or fast no, they're not interested, asking them if there's anybody else to talk to that might be. I've always found, and it took a long time to build a network that I have, and I hold it very dear, but it's about understanding who's in your network and what value they have, and then understanding how you can utilize that network. So my point of that being is that when I ask someone a question and I'm asking them for advice and they're giving it to me, if I can convince them that I'm worthy of tapping into network, then they will share their network with me. And that also gives some credibility when I'm going down that next level. So what other areas of the book that, I have several that I really, really like, tell me another area of the book that you really resonate with.
Well, I really like how she connects all of these things and how they're important as you move forward. So you've identified investors, you're doing that customer discovery, and what do they want? What do they want to see? And then once you're in front of them, you can use the 3 C's.
Yeah.
You want to build that integrity. You want them to trust you.
Yeah.
You want them to know, I'm someone that you can put your faith in.
Right.
And she says the first questions they're asking themselves, do I like this person? Do I trust this person? They're investing in people,
right.
not just a business.
Right.
And it's critical to have an understanding of that. So when you're in the room and you don't get defensive and angry when they ask you questions that you don't
right.
know the answer to, and being able to conduct yourself
yeah.
in a way that...
Yeah, we've talked about the 3 C's all the time. It was very compelling. It was kind of one of that first hook in the book that really grabs you hold. And I've always kind of felt I needed to live by those 3 C's, but actually putting it in context for me really helped. But one area that you just kind of talked about was the coachability side of things. What you want from an investor is smart money, right? And she talks about that. What do you feel about smart money? Making sure that whoever's giving you that investment is going to help you rather than just be a dollar bill that they're handing you.
Right, and that's where your customer discovery goes the next step.
Mm-hmm.
So she says that so many people get so excited about being in front of people, and they forget to care about where the money's coming from. But in the end, if someone is investing in your company, especially if they're someone you're thinking, oh, I want them to be an advisor and take on another role, how is this person going to help me? What kind of experience do they have? What kind of knowledge do they have that they can bring to the table that's really going to push my company forward?
Yeah, that's exactly what she's trying to convey with the term kind of smart money, and what other great advisors have put out there in their books and speeches and content as well. You definitely want them to not just make a deposit in cash, but a deposit in passion and energy and everything else. And I think that's one of the 3 C's that I like the most. I mean, they're all great, but coachability, right? Understanding that you can be educated by your investor. And the more they educate you, the more they inform you, the more you accept that, even if it's something you already know, the more they're investing more than just cash into you. They really want to invest time and everything else. And I think that's really, really important. You're a very confident person. I mean, when I first met you about 6 or 8 months ago, there was this you kind of bowled into my office with this idea that you had, but the one area that I want to make sure and let you off the hook, because you might think I'm saying something else, is you have to be confident without arrogant. You conveyed to me very early on that you were confident about what you were doing without being arrogant. How do you think arrogance can come across to an investor as opposed to confidence?
I think if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to understand, and this is something that she says in the book, when you're building your team, you're building your advisory board, you want to find people that are smarter than you. And you have to be able to admit and understand that you don't have all the answers, and you don't know everything, and you need to be introspective about, okay, who do I need to find that's going to fill in the gaps with my expertise?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great perspective. It's like being confident in my abilities and understanding and being self-aware of what my areas and my gaps are, and then fulfilling that filling those gaps in with your teammates, and understanding that you can't be all that in order to lead a company. You really have to understand and trust your team. So I think that's, and then character also, the 3rd C is something that I try to live by, and that's something else that other people have made a comment about too. A lot about her book are very tried and true levels of understanding about how to crack the funding code, but these are great rules to kind of live by.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. I mean, tell me more about, because I've seen times where that self-doubt will crop in with me, it crops in with you, but it's those that can kind of be confident enough to bridge through those. But believing in yourself has been something very important for you along this journey as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. ImagineU was a really great experience for me because my team ended up wanting me to present the pitch.
Yeah.
And I had to put aside that voice that's like, you're going to mess it up, you can't do this. I was like, you know what? I can't listen to you right now because I've worked so damn hard with this team.
Yeah.
I have to not only do this for them, but for myself.
Yeah.
We have created something so great, and I think confidence comes from wanting to share and be excited about the project that you're working on.
Right.
And investors can see that.
Yes.
They can see passion, and that's what they want. They don't want someone that they feel like is going to fizzle out, or if you're not confident, sometimes it can come across as you're not confident about your idea.
Right.
And that's just going to be detrimental. So that's, again, you have to sit down and talk to yourself and say,
and
okay,
your team,
what
right?
and your team, what do I need to do to make sure that we are presenting this company in the best possible way, and that we're presenting ourselves in the best possible way.
That's another section of our book about pitching, right? And just understanding you're not just regurgitating some copy off of a PowerPoint deck, right? You're delivering a presentation that really should mean something to you, because you're asking other people to have that same kind of level of investment and meaning into what your business idea is. That's a great perspective.
One thing she said in the perfect pitch chapter was that if you mess up, don't apologize, don't backtrack and fold in on yourself. That's the worst thing that you can possibly do.
Right.
When we won the ImagineU demo day, we got to move on to the Memphis demo day, and I stumbled a couple times in my presentation, but I just picked it back up and kept it going, because I knew that the worst thing that I could do was crumble in that moment.
Yes, and in her defense, the only person that knew she messed up was her. We all loved it. There was 300 people in the audience, and everybody was on on their feet, clapping and roaring with excitement for her and for her company. She did a fantastic job. It was amazing. And I think a big part of why you believed in yourself and can get up on that big stage is because you believed in your company, right? And ultimately what you're saying is when you believe in your company, others will believe in your company as well and your mission. Is there anything else about the book that I've talked to a few other people about how consumable the book is, how easy it is to read. It's not because it's so simplistic that anyone can read it. It's just a very good book. There's other books like Venture Deals that are very detail oriented and are great books as well, and teach you information that you may know more than your lawyer or your VC, and that's kind of their claim to fame. This book, to me, is the best companion book, and maybe even the right book to read before that book.
Yes.
Because it sets such a great level to understand the code.
I absolutely agree, and to me, this book is that book that you read before you deep dive into certain things. And if you are someone that's new to entrepreneurship, you are nervous particularly about how to present your financials, maybe that's something that you are so new to, this is a great place to start. The way that she lays everything out, it makes it easy to understand. But she's also very specific about what investors want to see and exactly what you need to include and be able to explain. Because sometimes it can be very daunting to know that you have to know your numbers and be able to explain that, especially if it's not your expertise. And
knowing your limitations, right? I agree totally. I couldn't have said it better myself. And the only thing I'll add to that is I do like how she brings in a lot of other investors' perspectives, right? There's a lot of other people that helped her and kind of contributed their thoughts into what she put into this book. And that gave it a great, a larger magnitude of validity, right? Credibility. I know she's a very credible person in her own right.
Of course, but
That's
she's
why
living by her own.
But that's why all those people
rules.
wanted to help her, right? Would give them their perspectives, and that's why she was asking. And I think that goes back to a lot of what she's saying is, you can't be the entrepreneur that keeps everything so close vested that you don't want help from anybody, because you're going to get no help from anybody. When you talk about your idea and you know that your execution is going to set you apart from just anybody else that has the idea, then you can bring in more people into it, and you can get more advice, more structure, more guidance, and more money, right? And more investment.
Of course.
It's all part of it. Any parting comments or thoughts or anything else other than we love this book?
I don't think so. Like I said, this book is just a great foundation point.
Yeah.
Especially if you're nervous about certain things, and even the chapters like networking. I do so much networking, but there were things in there where it was great to have a reminder, and she explained things so well. I'm like, yes, I need to remember that more often. I really just enjoyed it in general. Yeah,
I've been carrying this book in my bag for a while now, and I refer back to it. It's almost just like having it in my bag makes me remember things about it, and sometimes I pick it up and actually read it, and sometimes just looking at it and go, I'll keep that in mind. So great. Well, Emily, thank you very much for joining me today and this conversation. I know the book meant a lot to you as it did to me, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks.